Hey everyone, Michael Bodner here with Tesla Tunity, and I just wanted to say, if you love your Tesla,
don't let anyone drive it.
As many of you are probably already aware, I took my wife's Model 3 out to run some quick errands back on February 22nd, and unfortunately I was hit by a Mercedes-Benz running a stop sign. Now, the good news is the damage appeared to be pretty minor, and of course there were no injuries. Now, I already did a video that walks through exactly what happened in the accident, so I don't want to rehash that, but in this video I'm going to walk you through the body shop repair process. Alright, so one day after the accident, I went onto the Tesla website and located the body shop support page. As you can see, Tesla owns and operates 11 body repair centers, but unfortunately none of those locations are near us, with the closest being 3 hours away to the north. If you scroll down a bit further, you'll find Tesla's approved third-party body shops, and there were 6 listed that were close enough to us. We went ahead and selected first-class European Coachworks after doing additional research, as well as seeing them well regarded on the Tesla website. Next up, I contacted our claims rep from Progressive, and he confirmed that the body shop was acceptable. He also went ahead and put through all of the paperwork with Enterprise to start the process for a 30-day rental with a $40 a day credit. All right, now a few days later, the other driver's insurance was State Farm, and they concluded that their driver was at fault, but not fully at fault. They found me to be partially liable, something I didn't know existed in car accidents, but I was found to be 35% liable for the accident. And this is where I take a pause in the video. I'm going to put a link down below. I'll have one of those places, I think, over there, linking you to setting up your dash cam. Tesla gives us a free dash cam for our Tesla. It's too cheap, too easy, and too fast not to set it up. So, go ahead and click over there or wait till the end of the video. Again, I'll have it in the description down below, but that'll walk you through getting your dash cam set up. Suffice to say, if I had the footage of the accident, I could prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the other driver was 100% liable, and a lot of what I'm going to go through with you probably would have been different. All right, well, the next day, Progressive completed their assessment of the accident damage, and they concluded the damage was about $4,600 worth of repairs. All right, so a few days later, the body shop placed an order with Tesla for all of the parts that were needed for the repair. 9 parts in total, some in quantities, more than one. I'll have a list in the description down below of all the parts that were needed to repair our car, along with all of their prices. The distribution center is located for the East Coast in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and they did confirm all of the parts were in stock at the time of order. The shop did ask for a 3-day turnaround to get going on the car, and that was it. The order was in. After a week of radio silence, the shop reached back out to Tesla, and they confirmed that unfortunately, despite the parts being in stock, they were running a 2 to 3 week backlog on fulfilling orders. All right, so another nearly 10 days went by, and I was starting to get nervous. We hadn't heard anything on parts, and our rental period with Progressive 30 days was coming up. So I reached out to Tesla, asked if they could provide a loaner car or a rental car because it wasn't the shop's fault, it wasn't my fault. They quickly obliged and provided 20 days of rental with Enterprise. And of course, that was convenient because our rental was actually already with Enterprise. All right, so on day 30, we went into Enterprise to basically keep the car but switch the paperwork from Progressive responsibility to Tesla for the rental car. And at that point, they tried to charge us, here, let me look at my notes, just shy of $175 for the 30 days. That would be our portion of the bill. That did not sound right to me. I knew we had gone a little bit past the credit by like $1. So it should have been about $30 worth of charge. So quickly, they decided that they would offer to split the difference with me. And they took that down to, here, let's see, $81.15. I knew that was still wrong. Had the kids with us. They were starting to get antsy and the store was pretty busy. So I paid it, and I figured, I'd check the paperwork later and call them if there were any issues. So we drove away. Same car, Tesla responsibility. While Progressive gives $40 a day, Tesla gives $50. So at least now I know we are fully covered by Tesla and we won't owe anything else on the car going forward. All right, now for some good news. 21 days after the part order was in, all of the parts have arrived at the body shop. They came in a huge box. The shop was kind enough to take a picture for me. But basically all of the parts in one box, everything they needed to get the car repaired. All right, and then a couple days later, I dug up the paperwork, placed a couple calls to Enterprise, didn't get any responses, placed some emails, didn't get any responses, tweeted to them, private messaged. When I say didn't get responses, I got initial responses. No one followed up, and this went on for a couple days. Finally, I decided to just, drive over to the Enterprise location where we got the car, brought in the paperwork, and they said, "Oh, I see what happened. The paperwork that you signed did not have all of the charges listed." At that point, I was ready to go to battle over that, but he quickly said, "We'll go ahead and credit you back for everything to make good on the initial contract." So my advice to you, if you have to go through a process like this, a lot of us rent cars on our own. We don't think about the miscellaneous fees. You notice it when someone's covering 99% of the rental cost and someone tries to, I'll say screw you over, because that's how I felt that this went. But anyway, watch your bills closely, keep the original contract you sign, and make sure you have proof if you ever have to get into a situation like this with Enterprise or anyone else out there. All right, so fast forward another week, we're at day 40, and great news, the car is done. Bad news, the car has error messages. As you can see, the screenshot of it, they were kind enough again to send me a picture of what was going on while we went through the process. And there were some autopilot issues. Now, my wife's car does not have autopilot, so I suspect it was simply related to the safety features, the standard safety features, of course. And this was because the left side, driver side repeater camera was replaced. Usually you need a software update after that, so I assume that was all that was necessary. Now, unfortunately, Tesla had no availability the next day, so 2 days later, the car was towed back into Tesla, just down the road from where the body shop is, to correct the issues with the car. Now, Tesla had the car for 4 days. That does include 2 weekend days, but felt like too many days for what really just needed a software update on it. And anyway, they towed the car back to the body shop, and we were pretty much ready to go at that point. All right, so that brings us to day 48. We get the call in the morning. The car is ready for pickup. We knew that was going to be the day, so I drove my wife to work so we wouldn't have an extra car. Left a little bit early, picked her up, arranged for the kids to get picked up, and we were off to the body shop to go check out our car for the first time in 48 days. And it was parked out front, perfectly detailed, really clean. Honestly, just can't say enough good things about first class European Coachworks. The car was pristine. It looked like it was brand new right off the showroom floor. We noticed as we walked around to the back of the car, actually, that I guess while it was in with Tesla for the autopilot camera issues, they went ahead and installed the dual motor badge on the rear of the car. Now, we did not intend to put that badge on, and they didn't ask. So part of me says that's not right. They should have checked with us if we wanted it, but I think it's growing on us. I don't think my wife's going to have me take it off. But in any event, they put it on the car and we didn't ask for it. So that appeared to us. But again, it was all about getting the car back in perfect condition. The bumper, the headlight, all of the repair work was done perfectly. If anything, I'd say the paint match on the white paint was better from the body shop than it was from the factory. So again, kudos to the team at First Class European Coachworks. Just a phenomenal job on the car. All right, so the insurance companies did not come to an agreement on fault. So I think they're going to arbitration. Pretty long, drawn-out process, which means in the meantime, we're on the hook for the $500 deductible. With our policy, we had to pay that, obviously, to take the car away. So we hurried home, cleared out the rental car, took out the car seats and everything else. 48 days of ownership, you move into the car. And my wife tailed me. I drove the rental car back to Enterprise. And this is where the story gets kind of funny. Well, first of all, I'll say no paperwork issues this time. They took the car back without trying to charge us anything, so that's good. But again, here's where it gets funny. So we drove away. We were in my wife's car, and we started talking about how, it'll be a little bit of an adjustment getting used to her EV again with the regen and the gear shifter up here by the steering wheel. And as soon as she said gear shifter, I immediately realized I totally left the rental car on. At least I put it in park, but I absolutely left the car running. And that was probably 10, 15 minutes later. We were a couple miles down the road, and whoops, I should have had an EV. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. We'll summarize it. It took 48 days to repair what I would call very minor damage, and that was primarily due to parts delays from Tesla, as well as a couple days from Tesla just to get a software update on the car. We spent $316 on gas, which you were watching tick up as we went through the video. Now, in that same period of time, my wife would have spent $72 on electricity over 2,500 miles. So about 4 times as much money spent on gas over the 48 days. We spent $46 on a rental car in excess of the credit from the insurance company. Obviously, we had a fight to get that back down to the amount it was supposed to be. Of course, we spent $500 on the deductible, as I just mentioned. Hopefully, we'll get all of that back soon enough. So right now, out of pocket total spend, $862. And again, that was completely avoidable had we set up the dash cam and had we proved that the other owner was completely at fault. So that's all we had for you. And again, I'll say First Class European Coachworks did a phenomenal job. If you're in South Florida and need body work, reach out to them, ask for Scott. He will take care of you, give you great detail throughout the process. But again, if you love your Tesla, I recommend wrapping it in bubble wrap because unfortunately, as great as the shop is, the process can be a really long one. That's all I have for you, everyone. Catch you on the next one. Bye.